Welcome into the Road in Between. Today we are going to Highlands, North Carolina. In fact, we're already here. We're on the deck of Dr. Robert Hancock's home overlooking the Smoky Mountains, and there are 3 national forests behind me. Not a sight of humankind's creation at all, but what you do see is God's creation. We're going to be taking a look at it, God's beauty through water and mountains, and the perspective you get when you get away for a retreat. Jesus went many times up into the mountains to pray. And why did he do that? He got a fresh perspective. He was able to breathe deeply and regain his sense of mission and purpose for his life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today on the Road in Between.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.
Coming up next on the Road in Between.
Award-winning, quality, experience. Glass Incorporated's expert team can handle single window panes to entire high-rise buildings. Whether you need storefronts, glass replacement, mirrors, or shower enclosures, no job is too big or too small. Glass Incorporated, your commercial and residential glass experts. Locations in Meridian, Foley, Alabama, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
We all know the Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. But many times we forget that he also leads us beside the still waters. And we all need the still waters in this rapid world that we live in. We call that Sabbath. Everybody needs a Sabbath. We need to renew our rhythms of life. There's a time to breathe in, there's a time to breathe out, and there's a time to rest. And God rested on the 7th day. And he said for us to remember the Sabbath and what? Keep it holy. So I would ask you, where is it that you find your stillness? Where is it that you go reflect and remember and rejoice and know that life is a gift? Well, it's this place right here for me, and I love to fly fish for brim here in Mississippi. And it just reminds me of the quietness and the simplicity of life and the chance to remember that God is looking over us and he brings us hope. There's another word that's called Selah, which means holy pause. It's in the book of Psalms, and you'll see it in the middle of a psalm, and what it means is rest. It's kind of like when you're with an orchestra. Not everybody plays at the same time. Some rest, and then they come in and play later, but it doesn't mean that they're not part of the symphony. And so I invite you to think about your rest and see it as holy rest. It's Selah, a holy pause. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on the Road in Between. Welcome back to the Road in Between. Highlands, North Carolina was founded in 1875 after its 2 founders, Samuel Truman Kelsey and Clinton Carter Hutchinson, drew lines from Chicago to Savannah and from New Orleans to New York. They felt that the place where these lines met would eventually become a great trading center and commercial crossroads. Highlands was named for its lofty elevation. In the 1930s, the town became a golfing mecca when Bobby Jones of Atlanta and some of his well-heeled golfing buddies founded the Highlands Country Club. Today, that club is one of 7 successful residential country club communities in the area. I'm here with Mark Register, my cousin, and we are on a road. My goodness gracious, this is a road.
Okay, here's the deal. We're at the doghouse, still in Highlands. We're on day 3, 4. We really don't know what day we're on right now because we're off the grid. That's part of the journey. So come on into the doghouse.
What you think about Highlands, Mark?
Highlands is when you talk about roads in between, and curvy roads like the one I'm on right now, you know, roads in between need to be filled with spots of reprieve and spots of peace so you can reflect. And I see so many people seem to migrate here for exactly that.
Yes.
You talked to a bunch of people today all over town that it seemed to me to get the sense that that's why they keep coming here, and many of them have permanently located here, don't you think?
Yeah, it's natural, it's simple, it's quaint.
You know,
Rivers, waterfalls.
yeah. It gives you a sense of peace here. Nature's prevalent here. It seems to operate all on its own. That people don't have to work to keep it looking this natural and this pretty. It just happens to be that way.
It is a natural rainforest. So tell us about your road in between.
You know, my road in between is full of a lot of curves. I think probably as everybody's is, and it's full of different faith journeys that have been enriched and fast moving sometimes, and at other times stalled. You know, but I've been fortunate to surround myself with good people, such as you, Tom, and others that keep that faith journey moving, whether it's fast-paced or at a snail's pace. It moves forward, and coming to places like this, having weekends like this where we got, you know, brothers and cousins, and that grounding force that keeps us in that sense of belonging. I think it's the best part of the road in between for us. We were so fortunate to be part of a family that had that, and that probably keeps you out of the ditches on that road. You've assisted so many people into the hereafter, and you've been there holding their hands and stuff like that. What is the most important thing? What do they talk about is, do they have regrets, and if so, what do you find is the most common regret?
The regret is not what they have done. The regret is what they did not do. I wish I had taken that family trip. I wish I had explored beyond the state of Mississippi, or I wish I'd gone to Yellowstone, or I wish I had gone on that mission trip. It's very rarely regrets of what they did. It is regretting what they did not do because they maybe didn't have the courage, or they didn't have the strength or the resources. I think a lot of people get bored in life, or they're in such pain in life that they become reclusive and they kind of give up. Life is three things for a man, according to John Eldridge. A man needs an adventure to live, a battle to fight, and a beauty to rescue. And if we don't live life as an adventure, then we are not living as God intended us to live. Notice when Jesus called his 12 disciples, he didn't say, all right, we're going to be here for 3 years and then we're going to head down to Jerusalem.
No.
They immediately got up and went. And getting up and going, moving, transitioning is the call of discipleship. It's interesting.
Do you think comfort zones create mediocrity? I say that because I find from a career standpoint, from a work performance standpoint, I've always tried to stay on the edge of my comfort zone. I feel I perform best when I'm out there, out of it, out of that comfort zone more. And I've always tried to mentor and manage people accordingly, is recognize when I think they've attained their goals, they're good performers, but when they get too comfortable, then how much of that fire in their belly, how much of the adventure that you talk about do they really have? And I think that's true in just life and family and stuff like that. If you've gotten just comfortable with day-to-day mundane, executing the fundamentals, you're walking through the steps, you're checking the boxes and stuff like that, are we really performing as parents and as a family, and are we advancing ourselves to new heights?
I think it takes somebody to push us, and accountability groups or people that we trust maybe mentors. And you know, that takes a lot of courage too, because you have to open yourself up to change and growth. I know you've been with one company for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to go with another company, and it's taken a lot of courage.
Yeah, I got a different road in between right now that I'm having to lean heavily on my faith that this opportunity presented itself for a reason. I have no idea why it presented itself. I didn't go out beating the road looking for it. It came to me, and when that door opened up, I think the Lord tells you to have a courage to follow whatever He's presenting to you. So me and my family feel like that's how we should approach this, and so we are. So,
well, you've been traveling a lot, so much. 20 years you've been
on the road.
Traveling on the road, and this will give you a chance to be at home more often.
Yeah, you want to. You don't want to use hey, centered on your family as a soundbite. Are you really doing that? Are you walking that walk? Are you walking that talk? And so I've done a lot of reflecting of that. My first child just moved out of the house, which is always a significant time in a family's life. And
he's at Mississippi State.
He's at Mississippi State University, and he's we're so proud of him and his sister Elena, but they're got a lot going on, and 18 years passed by so quick. You think it's going to take forever when they're so young, but that day arrived sooner than we thought it would. When all that happened, and us reflecting on how fast it did, and I've got a daughter Elena that's still at home.
She's a soccer star.
She is a rock star with soccer, and
she's a goalie.
She is a goalie.
And y'all are traveling regionally and nationally.
Yes.
You've left the community of Birmingham, and now you are. She is incredible. She
is incredible. She's incredible. Not only that, but her spirit, and she grounds us on so many things, on so many levels. So I'd like to be present more. And I got just 3 more years, and then we're going to be empty nesters like somebody else I know.
Yes, empty nesting it.
And so you and I have been through that, and we've always been part of each other's road in between in the journey. So preparing myself for what that'll be like 3 years from now, this is a good time. It's a time of a lot of change, but a time that it has seemed to have recentered us, if you will, in a way that we didn't expect.
Very good.
It would, and I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for being with us on the road in between. Thank you for being with us as Missionscape.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go down to see Dry Falls.
Hey.
Let's go. Let's go see some waterfalls.
Okay, see ya.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
In today's world where most businesses and corporations' main mission is to simply make profit, CRM Companies differs itself by focusing on being successful in a way that also promotes growth and prosperity in the community. CRM Companies isn't simply a commercial development and management company. They create opportunities, they create jobs, they maximize the potential for growth and development of a better community, all while still providing great services and outstanding customer relations. Learn more about CRM Companies and their mission today. Visit crmco.com.
Coming up next on The Road in Between.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
Well, we're getting ready to start this fire right here, and we've got all kinds of old dead wood and particle board, and it's not good for anything except burning it up. But I could take this from the grocery store and try to light it, and it'll last for 3 hours. Or if I got lucky, I could go out into the woods and I could find this old pine tree that's turned into what we call a lighter knot. It is kindling wood, and it's this old resin from the sap of a pine tree, and it becomes a great chemical for starting a fire. It is the catalyst for that. There's a story in the Bible from 2 Timothy chapter 1 as Paul talks to Timothy saying, you once were on fire, but something's happened to you. You need to rekindle the flame that was in you. And remember your faith of your grandmother, who had that faith too. It's a very sincere faith. I think Paul was that catalyst for Timothy. Who is the catalyst, the kindling knot for you that helps restore your faith and get you back on fire for God? Because if you don't find that person, then what's going to happen is that old dead wood is going to become driftwood. And driftwood is good for nothing. Maybe right now you feel more like driftwood than anything. But God wants you to not just be on the mantle of life, He wants you to come to life. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on The Road in Between.
Welcome back to The Road in Between.
We're here in Highlands, North Carolina at Buena Vista. A wonderful name for a wonderful view. It's a fascinating place. Right now it's a little cold in August up here. It's in the 70s. This Highlands was really discovered through Bobby Jones, one of the golfers, great golfers of the era, who needed a place outside of Atlanta to come and rest and away from the hot temperatures, and he found Highlands, North Carolina.
We came up here to Highlands from Atlanta about 8 years ago and started looking around up here and loved it, loved the mountains, brought our kids up here, they were younger, and we decided we wanted to live up here. So it took us a couple of years, but we found a place to live, and we joined a club called Wildcat Kids Country Club. We play golf, we hike, play tennis, and we love it. Heaven on earth.
And you were here, you'd be here on the weekends, and then
but no one else will like it here. You don't want to come here, you don't want to move here, you don't want to play golf here.
We try to keep it a secret.
I love it. And
but
you have one of your
we do
children.
have a little connection to Mississippi because our youngest son, David Hudson, went to school in Jackson and went to Millsaps College. Graduated from there after 5 years with an MBA and played baseball with Jim Page. Jim Page is the coach at Millsaps. Wonderful program, wonderful liberal arts college. Best fit that our son could have had for college. We love it, love it, love it, love it.
Well, thank you for coming to Mississippi, and now you're up here in Highlands, and you've been here for 4 years.
You guys enjoy your golf.
We've been here 6 years.
6 years.
6 years, yeah. And we love it.
We like it.
What do you like about Highlands?
Well, the weather is horrible. When you want 90-degree weather, you do not get it here. It's only 75 here during the day. You can only play golf every day instead of every third day. It's really hard. So just be careful before you just jump in the car and come driving up.
All right, and I'm going to confirm that because 2 days ago we finally had air conditioning put in our house. No lie.
Oh my God.
We've lived up here for 5 years, 6 years, with no air conditioning in our home.
Didn't need it.
Decided to get air conditioning just for the humidity. Don't need it. Highs are low 80s in July, August. It's wonderful.
This is a show about a blend of faith and life. How do you find you have a spiritual connection up here? Any kind of heartfelt?
That must be a spiritual connection to all the bears that come through your porch and
Stop.
death and your garbage cans and
They're up here.
Well, the mix of nature and Mother Nature, and you're touched by that.
Yes, it's beautiful up here.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Great.
It's heaven on earth.
Whose bike is this? Is
Mine.
it yours? What's your name?
My name's Randy.
Randy.
Yeah.
And y'all ride together?
No.
We don't.
Okay.
We're from North
Just
met.
because of that bike over there.
Well, it brought
Isn't that awesome?
it brings people together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Serious.
We're from Indiana.
Okay.
We do a lot of traveling. And,
What is it about being on a motorcycle on the road in between here and there that?
I can ride 6 hours in the car and I'm falling asleep, and I can ride 12 hours on here and I'm wide awake because all your senses are brought to, the smells and the sights and.
See it, smell it, feel it.
Yeah.
On a bike.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you're in a car, you just look. And you don't experience any of the actual feel of it. Unless I get sick. On these kind of roads in a car.
You're in a cubicle, but here you feel alive when
I
you're.
was telling him I've ridden 1,200 miles in a day before.
My name is John Beslanovitz. I'm a fire official in Hazlet, New Jersey. I ride with the city guys. We do the 9/11. We start at Brooklyn by the Barclays Center, and they ride the subway into New York. And when they get in New York, we do a salute there, and I escort them over the Brooklyn Bridge and back to their firehouse. Me and another friend of mine. So I do this with the Tunnel of Towers. We ride with the city guys. I do a lot, with the city guys in New York City.
So were you there during 9/11?
I was there for about 2 days. What was happening there, I'm a volunteer fireman in South Jersey, and we had our IDs on them and everything like that, but they said we had to go because of the insurance and everything like that. It was a horrible day. We were there Sunday, Saturday night and Sunday, and it's very bad. But I ride with them, and we do some charity work. We do with one of the foundations. We take a piece of steel. We escorted them. We took one about 4 months ago down to Quantico, Virginia. The reason why we've done that was 25 of the New York City firemen were former Marines. So they brought a piece of steel down there in Quantico. One for the Marines and one for the New York City firemen. So it's fully escorted, state police. I do a lot of other things.
Stick around, we'll be right back. Coming up next on The Road in Between.
John O'Neill Johnson Toyota has been serving customers for over 20 years with integrity, honesty, and value. We want to thank you, our customers, for helping us win so many awards. Now we're #1 in Gulf States Toyota for market share 2 years in a row. Multiple winner of Toyota's President Award and 6-time Gold Dealer recognition. And the reason is simple. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
John O'Neill Johnson, a name you can trust. Toyota, a product you can depend on.
Welcome back to The Road in Between.
Highlands Aerial Park is a lot more than just the thrill of the zip lines. It's intended as a park for the entire family to enjoy. Not only the thrill seekers, but for the nature lovers, the youngsters who want to fly through the air, the grandparents that want to witness and share in the exhilaration of being outdoors. We're on 44 pristine acres of old growth forest surrounded by another 100,000 acres of Nantahala National Forest. We have a family course that is designed for 5-year-olds and up. We have nature trails that go throughout the property. We have over 100 native plants and trees that are identified so that those who are interested in the biological, ecological, environmental aspect of the mountains can share in that. And we used to bring the horses up and ride the horses, access the Forest Service off of here. In fact, the trails on the place were made by the horses, because the horse will only go 11 degrees unless you drive it up a bank. You know, you've heard of cow paths, they'll go 8 degrees.
Yeah.
So they did the trails, and we just kind of improved on this one. But so we weren't riding that much anymore. I closed a business in September, and by May I was an old man, or becoming one. I was just sitting around not doing anything. I said, I got to have a project. So got online and started researching zip lines.
Yeah.
Concept started in first weekend in May, and we opened the first weekend in October. So
how do you get the line? Tell us how that happens.
Well, the long lines, they take a 43 caliber rifle with black powder load and a brass projectile about 8 inches long for the bullet. There's a canister on the side of the barrel that has 800 feet of 70-pound monofilament line. They shoot it 800 feet out, knocks them down every time they shoot it. And then they find that and they reshoot it. So they've got 1,600 feet of line now. They tie that onto a 400-pound test nylon rope. They power winch that, and then they tie that onto the 1,600 feet of cable.
Yeah.
And that weighs 3/4 of a pound per foot. So that's 1,200 pounds of cable. And they power winch that, and they've got 6 tree climbers in a row on that 1,600 feet with poles with hooks on it, and they snake it up through the trees so they don't break the limbs off the trees.
Yeah.
And 2 carpenters that do the towers and all. They were handling the winch.
This is not a small thing to build.
No, it's a fascinating thing to watch. I followed them like a puppy all the way around. They were amazed that an old guy could keep up with them.
Oh, well, you're not just a normal old guy. I guarantee you.
But anyway, so y'all will have fun on it.
Oh, we're going to have a great time.
Thank you, George.
When you built all this, we really just kind of lucked into doing things right. We didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of drew out a building on graph paper.
Yeah.
And the original thought was that this would be a wall here, and there would be a couple of bunks back here where guides could stay. But we did away with that because we needed space in here. And it's worked out good.
So this has been 2 years you've had this? 3 years you've had this right.
I'm Megan. I am a canopy tour guide at Highlands Aerial Park. A neat thing about working here is once we get up to the first platform, it's really interesting to see the people and how nervous they are, and they're holding their ropes. And by the end of the tour, you know, everybody's hanging off the platform, enjoying life, and it's so awesome to watch them overcome their fears and go on that adventure with them.
Fantastic. Well, you did great. Thank you, Megan. And Steve.
Yeah, my name's Steve. I'm one of the tour guides here. I'm a receiving guide. I've been here since the very beginning. We do have quite a few people that come here and are slightly concerned, let's say really concerned. Quite a few of them decide that, hey, look, we don't want to continue on. But those that do, that had the same amount of concern, that didn't give in to their fear, like Megan said, they find themselves kicked back, relaxed, and totally enjoying life at the end.
Thank you for being with us on the Road in Between and letting me share with you some of my family and our memories that we created up here in Highlands, North Carolina. Highlands is about 4,100 feet above sea level. It's one of the highest places. Right now it's in the 70-degree range in August. What a beautiful place. Our family came here today with our cousins, and we were here all week. We got to be on that zip line, and we got to go golfing, and we got to go out and eat together. But it was really about fellowship and getting rooted again in that deep sense of belonging that family brings. I'm blessed to have a fantastic family growing up in South Georgia, and to come up here to North Carolina. We're grateful to Dr. Robert Hancock for sharing his place and his spirit and his love. As you go forth from here, think about your roots, think about where you come from, and maybe it's time to reconnect in your life with those who brought you up. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you this day and forevermore. Take care. We'll see you next time on The Road in Between. The Road in Between is made possible thanks to these sponsors: John O'Neill Johnson Motor Companies, Glass Incorporated, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Benchwarmer Grill, Benefits Management Group, Bright FX, Construction Services Incorporated, Cooper Concrete, Harvest Grill, Marcello Cranes, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Modern Outfitters, Mississippi Beverage and Water, Nationwide Insurance with Richard Davis, Woodstock Furniture.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.